Yo! Video games.
All right, so back from Evo, and we got something I really didn't expect to get, and nobody really did. Everyone kind of just thought, the way Sega's been going, like, they're just never going to show this game. This game's just going to be teased with these little CG, not even CG, but like pre-rendered trailers of, hey, here's a character, he walks into the screen. Yeah, Virtua Fighter, new project, coming soon, please be excited. And it's like, man, like, after the hype of, hey, a new VF is coming, it seems like Sega's been so skittish about wanting to actually show or talk about this new Virtua Fighter game. But here at Evo, which you don't usually expect, like, whole brand new things to drop. We actually saw the first in-game raw gameplay of the new Virtua Fighter project. That is coming from Sega. We don't even know the name, let alone the date or anything, but very cool to see. Very unfortunate timing for me and Max. Like, Max was making a call home. I was taking a piss. I got to see half of this live, and then we got a little bit of a replay. But yes, so Akira, and apparently a character named Stella, who's a bridge between generations or something. But yeah, like, no music, just sound effects. The grid training stage. It looks like it's like the mocap studio or something. But couple key takeaways we can talk about here. Number one, the big fluid animation has returned. Like, they're not. This is not going budget. This is not like shrinking down in scope or anything. Like, it is still extremely Virtua Fighter with its heavy use of, like, really fluid animation, heavy use of motion capture, very, very, very fluid gameplay. We're definitely seeing what is a classic VF game. Obviously, more details to show up at Tokyo Game Show, obviously. But yeah, so that's kind of number one. Is, hey, it's still gonna be a VF game as far as just sort of flow and crazy mocap goes. The other thing that my takeaway was, it seems to be adopting a very Fighting Vipers style pressure point system. So in Fighting Vipers, another game by AM2, it came out at the same time as the original Virtua Fighter games, and they got a big crossover called Fighters Mega Mix on the Sega Saturn, which is excellent, by the way. You would have armor for your upper body and lower body, and if enough damage or big hits were taken to the upper body or lower body, the armor would break off, and then that part of the body would become weak and exposed for the duration of the set. So what we clearly saw in this footage here was something that my immediate takeaway was, like, this is something very much akin to Fighting Viper's pressure point system. And we're just gonna slow it down. We can clearly see there's a point where you get this sort of red pressure point system on Stella, and then he pops it at some point. So it's probably not going to be the same exact mechanic as Fighting Vipers, where you break their pressure point system and they're just weak in that area for the whole rest of the set or match. But but we might see something where you can get, like, a little bit extra damage. Like, say, like, you hit a pressure point and then, like, you pop it or whatever, and then that'll give you like a really big damage boost or something. The reason I say that is because there seems to be, like, this sort of cloud mist mechanic to it. When he, the pressure point comes up and then like, he hits it and, like, it mists out or whatever. So this is my takeaway, is that probably the new gameplay mechanic that they're adding to Virtua Fighter is a pressure point system, which makes sense because, see, her face gets all red up there, and then, like, he pops it, and then it, all the mist comes out of it. So then he does it again, and then at this point, the interesting thing is when she rolls to get back up, the pressure point's not there. So leads me to believe there's, like, okay, you're gonna do a thing where you expose a pressure point, and you have to hit it again within a certain amount of time for that wound system to like really take place. Otherwise, if they roll out or if they, like, block or get away too much, then you lose that opportunity to do like a really high damage pressure point hit. And I'm okay with this. To me, this would be a mechanic that I wouldn't mind seeing in Virtua Fighter. The thing I'm most terrified of in all of Virtua Fighterdom right now, more than anything, I am terrified of a super meter, of a meter in general. This ruined Soul Calibur, and if they did it, I think it would have ruined Virtua Fighter. This is something I kind of disagree with the rest of the dudes on a lot. But for me, Virtua Fighter is a game where I admire its purity. And I would hate the idea of adding meters. Like, oh, you add this meter, you add like a super kill move, you add some sauce to it. And I'm like, no. Every other fighting game in the world has this. We do not need to throw it into Virtua Fighter. Virtua Fighter it stands fine on its own, because I mean, Virtua Fighter is always a game where like the health bars are pretty low, the rounds go really fast in Virtua Fighter. It does not need a meter. It does not need supers. It doesn't need meter management. It doesn't need any of that stuff. You have stance characters if you're in such desire for like an extra gimmick on top of your character. So, but yeah, the other thing is that one of the leads on this game is and has always been really, really big on defense mechanics and defense animations. So there's potential there that there's going to be some sort of like heavy defense mechanic, or just a lot of different block animations. That seemed to be like a big thing with one of the leads of this game. The other thing too is I always try to, what this stage doesn't do, and I think is probably what I'm going to guess is being saved for Tokyo Game Show, is environment destruction. So all the early footage and all the early concept footage of this game, what's up, Dark Voigel? Will we see Shenmue characters in Virtua Fighter 6? God willing, hopefully not. Actually, it might be fun just to see Ryo in there, but I think environmental destruction is going to play a huge part of this game. The concept footage from the NVIDIA conference highlighted it. Like even the initial launch trailer showed, Akira like knocking someone through like a stall or a wall or something. So it is a collab thing with RGG, studios. I think there's definitely going to be things taken from the Yakuza series, especially in regards to just environmental impact, environment damage, that I think is going to be a major part of this game. I think the stages are going to be extremely detailed. I think there's going to be, because even in Virtua Fighter 5, their stages all have different, dimensions and diameters and stuff, and walled and unwalled and ring out and, not ring out, and stages that bring a wall in and take the wall away between, each round. So, I think environmental damage is going to be a huge part of this game. Straight up. And I'm excited to see that. So don't get me wrong, I am super happy we finally got footage of this game. Like actual gameplay footage, like really, really happy. But the thing I'm kind of most excited about for the new Virtua Fighter is actually seeing how the environment plays a role, because that's such a core integral part of the Yakuza series, and since these are Yakuza devs are on this project, I'm actually super excited to see what happens there regarding the environmental damage stuff. And I know even Yu Suzuki talked about that in the little interview where he talked about what he saw of the new game. So I think that's going to be a major part of the game that we're really going to see when they really blow this thing out at Tokyo Game Show. Now, as far as anything else, how do I feel about Stella? I don't really feel anything, because I'm only getting just what I'm seeing here in Akira, and we know Wolf's in the game, and that's kind of it. But I do think what I'm seeing, just this, this does look like Virtua. What will it be called, though? My money is on, they're going to call the game Virtua Fighters. That's it. Virtua Fighters. Plural. And I think that's a good way to go about it, because I honestly expect some Yakuza characters to show up in this game. Whether it's Majima, Kiryu, Ichiban, I kind of expect a Yakuza character to show up. People are like, but they don't like letting them punch. Oh, shut up. Like they're probably going to show up, and they'd be foolish not to put a Yakuza character in this game. It's their own studio too, so it just I fully expect at some point in time they're going to have Yakuza characters, and I think they should be open to having Tekken characters as well. And if the game really takes off, like Tekken could borrow a Virtua Fighter character, like Dead or Alive did at some day. But yeah, I think they're going to call it Virtua Fighters. When do I think it's going to come out? I have no idea. Could be next year, could be even longer. I thought it might be a little sooner since they announced it at the Game Awards in December. Like, oh, maybe this is something that's like a year or so away. But like with how shy they've been, and they decided to wait like 9 or 10 months before they actually wanted to do a full gameplay reveal after the announcement, to me doesn't sound like a game that's coming out anytime soon. But RGG moves fast, so who knows? Maybe it is still coming out relatively soon, but maybe they're just holding it back because they don't want to. Maybe it's going to be at TGS because it's coming out next April or something. Who knows? But just everything I've seen so far is very promising. Again, the only kind of gameplay tease we got was this pressure point wound system. But we don't know how it works. We don't know what the mechanics of it are. We see no life bars in this footage. We see character select screen, nothing. We don't even see a stage, which I think is a major prize game. This was something that I think they threw together relatively quickly so that they could have something to show Evo, because I feel like Aoki and some of the other VF producers were kind of like, man, it's kind of weird for us to go to Evo and like, hey, spread the good word of Virtua Fighter, especially since Revo is coming out on Switch 2 at some point, and then Xbox and PlayStation and Steam soon. Well, it's on Steam now, but coming to consoles and including the Switch 2 soon. I think this may be kind of a little weird for them to be like, we're going to go to Evo, we're going to fly all the way around the world, go to Evo, do all this, and just really, really not have anything to show gameplay-wise for our new game. Let's put something together, because it's definitely not like an official trailer. It's not like it's not this curated hype trailer. There's no music in it, even no music in the stage, no game music. Like they clearly were like, this was cut together very quickly, just so they could have something to show people at Evo. And that was a good call. That was an excellent call. And not just doing another 30-second, hey, this character's going to be in the game, bye. Excellent call on Sega's part. So, whoever within the game developer or within the publisher at Sega decided, hey, let's actually show gameplay at Evo. Excellent call. It's what you need to do. So I'm very happy with what I saw, but it's also still not much. But it does give us a glimpse into the direction they're going with this game, and it's very Sega. I feel like doing a very Fighting Vipers style mechanic with pressure points or armor break. That's a very good direction for VF to go. I hope that's the extent of their crazy gameplay changes or additions. Again, I still don't want a meter. I think a meter is awful. I think it's an awful idea. I think it's like fool's gold. You think you're gonna Virtua Fighter? What Virtua Fighter needs to reach the masses is meter management. No, it just needs to look good, play good, and be accessible to everyone on everything. There you go. So yeah, this is coming together well for what little it is, and I'm still excited, and I'll be back to report with more after TGS. So yeah, looking forward to this. Let me know what you guys think.